I think she is my favourite author.
She's an amazing writer.
Because the way she writes, like, she really just, her words sing, and she'll kind of write and hold you on a cliff, and then she'll just drop you, and you'll be like, oh, is she going there? Oh, she's going there. She didn't just say that. Yeah. I'm always like looking for truth in terms of like my perspective on everything. You know how things can be like the media can give us their narrative, history is a narrative, you know, you get loads of people's perspective and things. I'm just always looking for mine. So I say my truths, like what I really believe of the world, you know.
Where does that start from? As a teenager, what books did you read then to kind of encourage that thought process of wokeness / truthness / guardianness?
I don't know, you know, because as a teenager, I was just reading like teen flicks, like genuinely. Yeah.
What are teen flicks to you?
I read, there was this book series called Dork Diaries.
What's it called? Dork Diaries.
Yeah, Dork Diaries.
D-O-R-K.
Yes, yeah. And it was like written as diary entries, obviously, of dorks, so of the person that wasn't the most popular person in school.
Oh, kind of.
And that's kind of the perspective a lot of main characters are. They're always like the underdog. The person's a bit more interesting. So yeah, Dork Diaries. I never read Harry Potter. I saw Harry Potter around my room, like around my house, because my mum had it, and I just read it recently.
Harry Potter is good.
Yeah.
I've told my Harry Potter story before, but just in a nutshell, like I got to like the 5th book, and then my parents my aunt very African was like, witchcraft, put it down, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden I was like, God forbid. Yeah. But I like Harry Potter. It's interesting you talk about like this book, the Dork Days one.
Yeah, Dork Diaries.
Dork Diaries, sorry, because I'm thinking of, when you say that, I'm thinking of Diary of a Wimpy Kid. And
similar. I can't tell you who it's by, but I guess similar vibe.
Tell me about some of this creativity then. Have you ever had like, what's the book that's inspired you the most in terms of a creative standpoint?
From a creative standpoint, The Prophet.
Okay, The Prophet.
Khalil Gibran.
Great.
Yeah, it's a book of like poetry, and there's a couple chapters, and every chapter is kind of like, it'll be on love or on joy and sorrow or on those kind of things. And like loss. Yeah, and it's the way he'll write. I feel like reading creatively, like when you think, I don't know if this is gonna make sense, but you think in words. So when you're reading like poetry or imaginative words, your outlook on life tends to become more like imaginative, more creative.
100%.
So creatively inspiring. Do I say The Prophet?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful book.
It's good. I have the animated. There's like an animated cartoon of it.
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know? There is. I have it. I've seen it. I've watched it. It's actually proper
really?
dope.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It does the same thing. That being said,
I'll check that out.
Yeah, that being said, if you like that book, there's a book called The Manuscript Found in Accra, another Ghana reference by Paulo Coelho, who obviously I know you're familiar with.
Yes,
and it's a similar premise, but it's like touching on subject matters, but really like articulating them in a way that you never really thought about. Do you know what I'm saying? Right.
And it's always the way it's written.
Yeah.
It's always the way words are strung together, you know.
Library. Did you go to library a lot when you were younger? What's your highlight library moment?
Yeah, when I had detention in school, I went to the library.
Oh, wait, your detention was in the library?
Yeah, a little library in my secondary school, and I was in there a couple of times. But did I go to the library to pick up books? Not till I got a bit older.
Okay.
So kind of now I've actually just started going to the library. I would buy books, and I should have been going to the library from like a lot earlier. But
is there still libraries now though?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I went into the library. It felt like it smelled like a hospital. Okay. And there was just people sitting there, and I wasn't sure if they was alive or if they were falling asleep. Like a lot, you know, and there were people coming in to use the toilet. That was probably the most activity. You know what I mean? Yeah. Libraries are cool. Like recently, I found how cool libraries are because they're free. You can literally pick up a book and read it and return it, and it's free. Like the concept kind of blows my mind. You can pick up whatever's there. You can order books into the library, read it within like 3 weeks or something, return it for free. Yeah, it's crazy to me. But, it's dope. They're dope, I don't think I have... Remember the last time I returned a book to the library. I feel like last time I took out a book to the library, I don't think I returned it. Right. So after that, I was like, all right, cool. Let me abandon the whole library. I went to the library the other day, and I'm sorry, I had a charge on my thing. I don't know why. I don't know how it got there. There must have been a book that I haven't returned. You know what? I'll check it out when I go back. If that charge is any more than £2, I got you. The least you can do for coming this way, I've got you. I'll hold you to that. So I'll DM you. 100%. You got Monzo? No, I'm NatWest. Nat West. Okay. I've got issues with Nat West, but yeah.
Yeah, but there's something about buying your books sometimes. Yeah. I guess that's why you might not go to the library, because there's something about just having books in your home, especially when books can get old. Like my auntie recently gave me Maya Angelou's autobiographies.
Oh, that rest in peace, Maya.
Yeah. Yes, of course. And I think there's about her autobiographies like 6 books or something, and the books that were old to me, they're you know, she's had them for a long time, and they're so old that they kind of smell like chocolate. I don't know if you
what kind of chocolate?
I don't know. They're just sweet. Like, you know, books have a nice smell.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And
the smell
old
of a book,
books that smell good. There's just something in it you can just you know?
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, so library buying books. Yeah, they're books are amazing.
What was the last book you bought then?
The last book I got, which was a present, which was Sula by Toni Morrison. Oh. I'm reading that now.
Toni Morrison.
Yeah, and that's like really, I wanted to read that because it kind of, it focuses on a female character coming into her strength and her power, which is exactly why I turned 21. I was like, I want to read that. The last book I bought, honestly, was a Bible. Yeah.
Oh wow, where did you buy a Bible from?
Brixton. Yeah. There's a Christian store in Brixton. But yeah, I bought the Bible. That's the last book I bought. Before that, I don't know, I couldn't tell you.
Cool. Now we'll take it down the Bible, but I want to talk a bit more about Maya Angelou and Toni Morrison, who are obviously amazing writers in their own right. This book, Beloved, Toni Morrison, tell me how it made you feel, because I know how it made me feel. How did it make you feel? Like, I feel like this is a very intense book.
You know what? This book, it's a deep one. It's a deep one. I, like, over the course of reading this book, I felt like I kind of aged, because I came into like so much of an understanding of what has like come before me, what's happened before me. I think I was reading it, I had to put it down for like, I'd say like a month or something. I just kind of had rested it. But it was always like calling me, always beckoning me until I came back to it and finished it. I had to take a break from it. But like Toni Morrison's one of my favorite. I think she is my favorite author.
She's an amazing writer.
Because the way she writes, like she really just, her words sing, and she'll kind of write and hold you on a cliff, and then she'll just drop you, and you'll be like, oh, she's going there. She's going there. She didn't just say that. Yeah. I could break it down. So
break it down for me. Break it down.
It's deep. It's a deep one, but it's the main character, Seth, is a freed slave, and she had escaped. Which is the book's based off a true story. The main character, Seth, is a freed slave, and then she had been found.
You can't do no spoilers, though. I feel like I didn't know.
The thing is, this is what was in the Toni Morrison documentary, which made me want to read the book.
Oh, so you already knew about that big...
before I found the book in the documentary. So it might be a spoiler, but I could go ahead and say it. I
feel like it's a spoiler, because when I got to it, I was like, oh...
You weren't expecting it?
I wasn't expecting it in my life.
I saw it in the documentary. Okay, that's cool. So either way, it still makes you want to read it. I think reading that book genuinely, like, kind of made me really realize, like, how free I am, like, what freedom is. It made me really appreciate it for what I have. Can I, like, read a tiny bit?
Yeah, feel free, man. Please do that, man.
There's, like, this is why the book is so beautiful. The slaves on the plantation couldn't dream to love too big, so they'd pick small things like stars in the sky, or blades of grass, or insects to love, because a love too big might, it would be too risky, because it could be taken from you at any time. So, really, when I read this, it kind of really made me think about, there's a lot of, like, unhealed, genuinely trauma or pain in Black families, and we don't know really where they come from. And when I read things like this, things like, it's a deep one, but things like not really daring to love your own children because they could be taken from you at any moment, or not loving them out of protection. You know, as generations go on, there be so much that's unhealed and unspoken of. So when I read a book like this, it really helped me put so much into perspective, like, wow, you know?
No, that was really
that's how I
for
feel
me.
about the book.
I hear that. Yeah. As a father, like I couldn't fathom like being in that position where you can't afford to love your child, because you know the consequences of what that love could be. Like, and I'll be honest with you, like I was almost close to tears when I was reading certain. When I was reading certain parts about it, 'cause I was like, people really had to go through this. Have you ever read Colson Whitehead, The Underground Railroad?
No, I haven't. I wanted to watch the movie. I know a movie came out, but I haven't really.
Read the book. The book is amazing. Amazing. It's like, it's not, Toni Morrison's on another level. But in terms of like capturing someone's individual experience in that time. Great book.
Yeah.
Great. I feel like I'm getting a bit...
Thank you. It's a deep one. We got onto it early, but on a brighter note, she finds her freedom.
Yeah.
There's a line in the thing where she wakes up and she can do whatever she wants to do with the day. Just, I think small things like that, it made me really, really appreciative for where I am now. So
it does make you appreciate it. It's super tragic, but it is beautiful.
It is.
So I haven't read this book. Songs of Solomon, another Toni Morrison. Song of Solomon. So I actually have this exact copy in my house.
I have that exact copy.
I have the exact copy, but I haven't. I read the first page. I was like, this is going to be so good.
Yes.
But I have to finish reading this other book that someone recommended to me.
Right. So it begins the main character, Macon Dead Jr. It's really his journey coming into himself through all of what happens in the book. It touches on it moves around rumors when he digs into his family's history, rumors of his ancestors flying back to Africa, literally, growing wings and flying. When I heard that, and I was like, to me, that's, I think flying back to Africa, because I was speaking to someone I know about, he had heard of rumors of people flying back to Zion, things like that. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to read this book. And it moved me in the sense of just the strength the main character finds. He really comes into himself as a person when he digs back into his family's history. So yeah, this is a beautiful book.
I'm 100% going to read it. One thing I don't do is, recently I read a book without reading the blurb.
Yeah.
I just like going, and that's why I
don't read the blurb.
No, I don't.
I don't read forwards.
Oh, really?
Sometimes I don't really like to read forwards. Because I don't always like to read if someone else has written the forward, I don't always want to read what someone else thinks of the book before I read the book.
To take your opinion.
But Toni Morrison,
she wrote forward of this. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The forward she writes for Beloved is very, very dope. Talking about how it came to her now. She's dope.
She's amazing.
Books you love. What books do you think are super overrated?
Overrated?
Yeah.
I said this one was overrated. Moby Dick.
Have you ever read Moby Dick?
I read it in school, and I don't really remember it. That's why I said it was overrated. But I know it's I don't want to. I find it hard to say books are overrated and hate on authors, but I just don't really remember.
No, if you didn't connect with it, I was telling someone that Mice of Men, everyone loves Mice of Men. I don't get it. I haven't read it. Yeah.
I
don't get it. We sat down, we watched the play. I was like, okay, I still don't get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel like if you don't connect with a book, it's not a bad book, but it obviously wasn't for you.
I think a lot of books we read in school just didn't really give me the passion for reading like that. It's only when I kind of found the books I wanted to read. Books are a personal thing, So,
yeah, 100%. I agree.
But again, if I was to read it now, I might connect with it. I don't know. At the time, it wasn't here.
So they say Moby Dick has one of the best introductions for a book. I mean, the first page, so apparently, because I haven't read it, but allegedly, the first page is one of the best introductions for a book. So let's, for many reasons, let me see the first page. Call me Ishmael. Some years ago, never mind how long precisely, having little or no money in my purse and nothing particularly to interest on the shore, I thought I would sail about a little and see the watery part of the world. So from a writer standpoint, apparently this is a good intro because it says, call me Ishmael. And when you start, you say, who is Ishmael? Why should I call you Ishmael? And what is the relevance of this? So it's apparently one of the best ways to start the book because all of a sudden, you have all these questions about this guy that is going to go on this journey to find this white whale. Have you ever read a book you wasn't supposed to read?
Yeah, I have.
Have you read this book?
Yeah, I have.
So let me tell you something. Yeah, they said
not the whole book. Not the whole book.
I haven't read it, but what they said is that they had to order in this copy especially for you. Yeah,
really?
Because nobody has. I'm not saying anything wrong with this book.
That's hilarious. So they were like, "Why is this person ordering
Who's 21?
50 Shades of Grey?"
Yeah, literally.
LOL. No, I picked up my mom's copy and I read a little bit.
Oh.
I thought it was wild. So
Mommy was. Did Mommy know you were reading her copy?
No, of course not. Mommy didn't know I was reading 50 Shades of Grey. I don't know. I was like a young teenager, innit? But I knew this book blew up. It had its phase, and I feel like all the mums were reading it.
Oh, I remember when I was working. Them times I was working in retail, and I remember people come into the lunch hall reading the book. Then I'd get onto the train and people would be reading the book. And I was like, it sold a lot of copies. Yeah. I've never watched the films, never read the book. Yeah. So have you ever read a romance book?
Yeah.
What's your favourite romance book?
I don't feel like I have one. I don't feel like I enjoy romance books like that. I enjoy romances that pop up in books that aren't about romance, if that makes sense. Action book will have a romance in it, and I'll love that. But books based on romance, don't really.
I need to recommend you some romance books.
Yeah, okay.
Americana. I think have you ever read Chimamanda? Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie.
I read it. I think I read a bit of a small book she wrote. I forgot the name of it.
Notes on Grief.
No. Something
Zukora.
About women. I don't know.
Oh, feminist man. We should all be feminists.
Yes, yeah. I read a bit of that. Yeah,
so she's a writer. I don't think I pronounced her right. Sorry, that's not my Nigerian side coming through. She is an amazing writer. She's got a book, Americana, which is, we were talking about it before, is a great love story. So,
I think Chimamanda, she wrote something about the sun.
Half a Yellow Sun. Yeah.
I read a bit of that, but I didn't finish it. Again, I don't know.
No, I'm going to advocate for her forever. Like, I have a personal reason. I said it on one of the episodes. I have a personal reason for loving her stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm always going to advocate for her forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're talking about like love and politics, Americana is a great one. If you're talking about just straight up love, oh my God, I hope he gets with the girl, will they, won't they?
Yeah.
One Day, David Nicholls. I wouldn't recommend. We were talking about The Notebook. Great film, book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically, I like love stories. I don't necessarily like erotic love stories. You know what I mean? Yeah, you write a whole love story. I don't need to see no eroticism. I just need to see 100%. The guy chasing the woman of his dreams. Yeah.
I feel if someone can write a romance book and catch the realness of love, because I feel like love is such a real thing.
Yeah.
So I think just growing up reading like romance novels and then learning how to form my own relationships, like real life isn't like it is in a romance novel. You know what I mean? Which is why I didn't really like them like that. But you know, if someone can write it and catch again like the real emotions and feelings,
it's a different situation.
You know, I know you know all about love.
I don't know all about love, but I'm trying.
Not all about love, but
studying
marriage.
About love.
You write about marriage. You know what I mean, and love, and you know that I don't even have to say. Yeah,
it's different from what is on the page. That's what I like. Complex love stories where they chase, and you know you really feel that he's not gonna get there. He's gonna, I like that. Question: how does reading enforce your acting career? You know what I mean? You've been in some big shows. You know what I mean? You've been on big sets. Like I was saying, one of my favourite British shows was Years and Years. You know what I mean? And I saw you in the background lurking scene to scene. I was like, yeah, this is really dope. I love what they communicate. He was about doing little mischief, you know what I mean, doing your thing. I like it. I respect it. You know what I mean? So I'm like, how does reading inspire your acting career? You know what I mean? You went on to,
Yeah, I've never thought about that,
Yeah. It's creative, so.
Yeah, and I've never actually given too much thought about how reading inspires anything, but it does subconsciously, because it's your imagination. When you read, you're imagining it. It's like a movie in your mind. And when you're acting and you're reading a script, you imagine it. When you're acting, you're imagining it.
Yeah. You
can be doing things like in acting. I'll be joking about with my partner now, like watching movies where like Marvel things when they've got like a ball of magic in their hand, and I know the actors on set like nothing in his hand.
I watched Doctor Strange yesterday actually with my wife, the new one.
And there's nothing there. They're probably in a green room.
Yeah.
So it's your imagination. So your reading has 100% is expanding my imagination.
So using the 4 o'clock club.
Yes,
yeah. I mean, that's like obviously it's like kind of has a staple like in for children's kind of like TV shows. Yeah. What's your favorite kind of like script that you've seen, or favorite kind of like episode of anything you've had to be in? You was on White Lines as well.
Yeah.
So is White Lines a Netflix original?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, a Netflix original by the same writer that did Money Heist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, same writer. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's dope.
You mean my favorite script I've been in, or my favorite script I've read?
You may not have been in it, but someone sent it to you and you read it and you're like, I'd love to be this character. Or you were in it and it was an episode or something and you're like, I love this.
I don't know if I can give you my favorite script. I mean, I enjoy reading through 4 o'clock club scripts, because we'd obviously read the script before they could come out, and I would imagine how it would go. But even when you're reading a script and you get onto a set, the set's never how you imagine the script when you're reading it. Yeah. So you've got to be open to that. Yeah. It's the same as watching a movie and reading a book and watching a movie. The movie is never really how you... Maybe it might be, but it's never really how you...
Very rarely, yeah. That's dope. Yeah. So in terms of story-wise, what is your favourite... Have you read The Fault in Our Stars?
I haven't.
You haven't read it?
All my friends are reading it. I watched the film. Yeah. The film was beautiful. Yeah. I think the film did make me cry. But I never read the book. All my friends are reading it, but again, with the romance thing, I never read it.
So I like John Green. Yeah. I like what he did in the book.
Yeah.
I have.
Have you read it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I told you I'm into all this stuff.
Yeah.
So
you read romance?
Yeah, I like. I'm heavy. Two of my favorite genres are romance or like epic fantasy.
Wow.
Yeah, those are my favorite genres.
Right.
So I like. So they're supposed to be 16, 17. I felt like they were too sophisticated for 16 and 17-year-olds, like very high level intellectual. So it was kind of like it's not even intelligence, it's just like some of the decisions they were making were very high level. But at the same time, it was like, but it's a good book, a very good premise, like and it's emotional. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. But you're reading it like, that's a mature move to make. I'm surprised she did that.
They were saying like, I mean, if I could find any of the characters, they would make some references, and I'll be like, I don't even get that reference.
It's a metaphor.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
right.
So you have to read it all in context because the way the character, but they're so witty and so sarcastic, and obviously the main character has cancer, and it's kind of like, obviously he worked in a cancer ward with young children, so he kind of like he knew what it's like with young children who have terminal illnesses. So but it was like, I don't know how like a young woman with cancer is going to like
100%.
react, and a young boy. It is a tragedy, but I like John Green. That being said, he started on YouTube, so him and his brother Hank Green, they do VidCon, they do a lot of stuff like.
Started on YouTube, like posting what type of videos?
So he has this series called the Vlog Brothers. So he has a brother called Hank Green. Yeah. And they would post a video every single day of them talking to each other but without seeing each other. So that really blew up because they were vlogging their interactions with each other. Yeah. So it really blew up. They built this massive platform. Yeah, but John Green has always been a writer. Right. So then his books, a couple more of his books started coming. He's got this, Find in Alaska, a couple of other books. So it's always been like, he's always been in both spaces, and I've met him before at VidCon. Such a cool guy, and he writes good stories. So I say
this is dope. From watching the film, he's a beautiful writer. Yeah. The story is beautiful. And
the story is really, really dope, man. We're talking about Toni Morrison. Yeah. The Color Purple. Yeah. What's your feelings on The Color Purple? When you said that you like this book, I was like, this is like you really like immerse yourself in it.
Books, yeah. Well, how I feel about The Color Purple, when I read it, I was a bit younger, so I feel like some of it might have gone over my head. I picked it up like again recently just to flick through it, and like books are things like before you read them, like it's almost like sounds like a prestigious book because it's so big. The Color Purple, and you're like, what is The Color Purple? And as I'm reading it, and I really understood that it's about that flowers, the color purple, and the main character through the book, it kind of sounds like she's just finding the wonder of the world and what she feels God is to her. And so there's a line in the book on a side note that she thinks it pisses God off if you walk by a field of purple and you don't notice it, you don't recognize it. So the color purple, it's like it's kind of spirituality and faith and all of that.
Have you ever seen the film?
I haven't.
I think this is one of the few books as a film that the film is dope.
Yeah, but let me know what do you think of the book? Have a conversation on it. What do you think?
I read it so long ago. Yeah. I feel like when I was reading it, it was kind of an insight into me as to like how women experience like not necessarily life, but like their circumstances, you know what I'm saying? Because this is quite like a separate experience that I would never been involved in. And so I just like to see, this is like, it really felt like it's through her eyes, because it's written through her dialogue, all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? And seeing Sub coming to, I really, really liked it.
Yeah, and it's her diary entries.
Yeah, exactly. I can't even remember what made me read it. Because it wasn't like no one was talking about it. Like, I read a lot of these books when it was just like, oh, it's in the library, let me pick it up. You know what I mean?
So you didn't know anything about it?
No. I think I'd heard of Alice Walker, but this was before these books were popular. So I'd just be like, oh, cool. Yeah. But I used to devour books. Like, for me, it was like, I mean, I still read a lot, but them times it was like better than watching films. I wasn't allowed to watch TV during the week. Okay. Growing up. Why did you recommend so many Sophie McKenzie? You need to put me on to Sophie McKenzie.
So you know what, because the school I went to, Sophie McKenzie went to that school too.
What school was
that? It was Sydenham for girls, the GDST one. And so Sophie McKenzie went to that school and became an author. So the school was pushing
Writing for her. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. And we were all reading Sophie McKenzie, but she was dope. She wrote teen fiction and a lot of teen like action. So I was like, she was my world when I was in primary school.
That's dope. So you don't read her stuff anymore?
No, not anymore. No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Have you hit her up though? Now that you're a celeb, have you tried to hit her up?
I haven't even thought about that.
Oh, you should, man. I feel like it's important.
I'd like to write I'd maybe would like to write a book at some point. So could be a collab thing. I don't know, but yeah, no, she's cool. The books you picked up, these were like action series. So like, what was the first one? I think this one here.
Yeah, there's like 10 of them.
Yeah. This book activated my imagination. The setup. So you have literally like there was 4 or 5 teens, and they all develop superpowers. They all don't know they have them, and they all form a team to fight crime, and they all have different powers. So some of them can like move things with their eyes. Some of them can read people's minds. So I would always
like Misfits kind of thing.
Yeah, literally. So you can imagine that as a like teen reading this was like the movie in my head was everything. I would always try and
just to have the
talk
copies
to people in my mind, and I couldn't do it. Seriously. Yeah.
No, I used to be like that when I used to read X-Men. There was this whole idea that one day it was just gonna crack, you know what I mean? And the superpowers were gonna manifest.
Yeah.
It's a bit embarrassing, but I actually used to make like superhero weapons. So when my powers actually came through,
you
like
could
I had
use
weapons.
They never came through though, did they?
Nah,
That's a shame to hear.
I used to get like hangers, like the metal ones, wire them, and make them into like a grappling hook. And like, I was ready to protect the people I love. Before we go into like the last 2 books you'd recommend, creatively, what fuels you nowadays? Like
what fuels me creatively? Yeah. I play instruments. I play the keys. I play the guitar.
Oh wow.
I'll have times when I don't write anything for like a week or 2 weeks, and I'll come to the piano and I'll write something, kind of just in like a flow. Yeah. I'll finish it and I'll be like, that's how I feel. You know, that's how I've been feeling.
So when's the mixtape dropping? Do we get exclusive? Can we get an exclusive?
Sing.
You're a dope singer, you know. I saw you on Disney, The Lodge. Did you sing all the songs?
Yeah.
You sang all the songs?
I sang them.
You did all the choreography as well?
I didn't write them, but I sang them. I didn't do the choreography, but I danced it.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you're a proper Disney kid, low-key, in a way.
I was, you know. Yeah. I was. I actually had, it was my dream to have like a music video in the breaks of Disney Channel, like Selena Gomez did and like Hannah Montana did. So when the Lodge came out and I had my own... Like,
you had your own...
not my own, because everyone was in it, but I was singing the lead in it.
Yeah, and you got a lot of streams for those tracks as well, innit? Those are like
a dream come true.
Yeah.
But I do have music coming out soon.
Do we get a preview?
I can't give you a preview, but I can tell you it's coming out soon. No, I can tell you it's coming out soon.
Can I get a feature?
If you really want.
I do. I don't know. I've got like a mean 16.
I mean, send it to me. Send it to me. If it's working, then
beatbox.
Maybe.
Can you beatbox? I'll drop it for you right now.
I can't.
Alright,
can you beatbox?
No, I can't.
Okay. Do you write though?
Do I write?
Like, I know you write poetry. I know you write poetry.
Do I write? Is the sky blue?
I'm sorry. I know you write poetry. Do you rap? Do you?
I don't rap. I just write the dopest poetry.
Yeah.
On the planet.
No, you have written some beautiful things. I've seen like three.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
I do like your perspective. Your perspective on a lot of things is very beautiful.
2 books you'd recommend. These came out as the 2 books you recommend.
Yeah, these are
one of my favorite books.
Yeah.
I can tell why you like it, because you're into like metaphors and spirituality. Mm-hmm. Tell me about Children of Blood and Bone, because this is a fantasy. Tell me why would you recommend this
book? My friend put me onto this. Shout out to Doyen. This book is like, it's just amazing.
Yeah,
it's
just really tries.
Harry Potter is amazing.
Yeah.
This is creeping onto J.K. Rowling. This book.
Yeah, she goes in. She does go in. Have you read the second one?
I have, and there's a third one coming out, which I'm waiting for Tommy Adeyemi to write. I'm waiting for it, but this book, it lives in that fantasy world, and it's kind of about I'd say the main character, Zili.
Is it? Yeah, she's magic. There's like no more magic in the world, but
she's on a quest to recover lost magic. Again, when I found it was based in Nigeria and all the
it's so African, isn't it? I love the way they do that. Like they speak in Yoruba and all that. Right. I love the way they do it.
They even give you a map in the beginning of the book.
So shit, I ain't got that in my copy.
Yeah, which is exactly what they do in Harry Potter. So you can see the world it's in.
I don't think I have that in my copy.
Yeah.
So where I am actually, they've got to the desert. You know when you're in the desert, but is it a spoiler? No, and the ship comes out, like all the water, like they've got to recover. Yeah. So they've gone to the temple and they realize they need to restore the magic. Okay, cool. But and in the desert, that was one of the dope scenes where the ship comes out in the desert.
But the writing is
even
amazing.
got Lagos and everything. It's hard.
I recommend this one because this is the book that got me back into reading. It was like a movie in my head and I couldn't put it down. I was thinking on like Christmas, the night before Christmas Day, or something. I was up to like 5 just with the book. So yeah,
and
this book is really dope. It's really dope.
That's how Beloved was for me.
I don't know if I sold it well enough, but it's something everyone should read it.
No, I totally agree. In terms of when it comes to fantasy, so many is written from one perspective. This is kind of like an alternative environment and setting, and I feel like she does it really well.
Yeah. I read on the back of the book, when I finished the book, I think it was actually, she'd written it based on police brutality.
Yeah.
And so she'd kind of taken the real world and fictionalized it. So everything in the book, you feel it, but it's in its own world in terms of magic. So
context.
Yeah, it's imaginative, but it's so real.
She actually, it's beautiful. It's interesting you're saying that, because she said Harry Potter was what she wanted to write. Nobody wanted to hear it. And then she went to her partner and was like, because so in uni, I think she studied like in Brazil or something, and studied all the Nigerian gods. And she was like to her partner, I want to write a book about what's actually going on in the world, but I really like stuff like Harry Potter. And then, what partners are for, he was like, why don't you just do the things together? The result is this book, you see what I'm saying? So I agree. I think it's a good recommendation to end on.
Yeah, and The Alchemist, just in general, again, it's like it's kind of a classic. Yeah. For recommending anyone to read. It's a dope book.
You're the first woman that's recommended The Alchemist.
Really?
So for that, you're going to go in our Hall of Fame.
Okay. Yeah. Have you got a Hall of Fame?
We have one now.
Okay,
you're on the top of it.
Yeah. I'm on the front.
Yeah, you're on the front. Hall of Fame.
Dope. Yeah, this book, it's kind of about like following your dreams. In general. So when I was kind of at a point in my life when I was just really like trying to listen to my inner voice. I call it my inner GPS. You know how it always goes, and you're finding kind of which way to go. God, what's the next move? Where do I go next? This book was very much, helped me with that. It kind of, it's a tale, it's a story, and it's quite small. It's a quite short read.
The Alchemist?
Yeah, nice.
I feel like I am the Alchemist.
Really?
Honestly.
Yeah.
I feel like the book was just written for me, and then everyone else kind of just got
turning metal into gold.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's metal, but
well, Alchemist turned metals into gold.
Yeah.
Fun fact, actually, the most popular books in the world, Quran, the Bible, and The Alchemist is one of them as well.
Really?
Yeah, because obviously, actually, then again, 50 Shades of Grey is one of them top 10 books in the world. So I don't know what that says. But The Alchemist is one of them, and I feel like it's because it's such a spiritual book in its nature.
Yeah. It's everyone relates to like following your dreams.
Yeah.
So everyone can, and books are relatable. That's one of the best things about books. They're relatable. Like we see ourselves in the characters we read, especially the main characters. And I feel like a core theme in so many of his books is like the main character finding their strength or finding their power or coming into themselves, So when we read books, we connect, because that's, we write what we know and we read what we know. So, yeah. If I made a beat, would you actually like rap something?
Come on, man.
For real?
If Jay-Z went in the studio, would he actually rap?
You will? Okay,
if Michael Jordan was given a basketball, would he actually bounce it? Boom, boom, boom. Yo, yeah. Yep. And if you follow me, then I'll follow you.
Yeah.
But that's on Twitter though, not in real life. Because if I followed you in real life, I might be a stalker. But we're talking about a book by Alice Walker.
Right.
And it's the colour that is purple. Mm-hmm. And you know that the verse will murk you.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll feature on my track. I feel like I really held you up there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Anytime.
Cool, man.
Yeah.